idly, hurdly. Dr. Ned Flanders here, and I have been hyperventilating and going into cold showers for around the last 3 years, stepping it up in the winter. You're probably thinking, like, why are you doing that to yourself? I've been doing the WIM HOF Method, which is a 10-week program of progressive cold exposure, culminating in this.
Dude, you made a fucking Aqualand out of the background.
Up.
No, just being I don't want to get in like my wellies.
Okay. So, I've just finished the week 10 of the WIM HOF 10-week course. This is the final stage. Ice bath for 10 minutes. I've just been in for about 5 minutes so far. About to do my third round. Okay, I think that's enough. Cameraman doesn't know why I'm doing this and is probably just a bit bewildered. Thank you, David.
You're very welcome.
The three main benefits that I've got from doing it are being able to see through walls, being able to smell the colour green, and generally just feeling a bit better throughout the day. Generally, you get a slight improvement in your sense of focus and discipline, partly because you've woken up in the morning and you've essentially eaten a frog, like you've done the hardest thing of the day, and then been able to see everything else as not as difficult. So that's the subjective side. Objectively, there's the famous study where they injected people with an endotoxin and made half of the participants do the Wim Hof method, the other half were a control group, and the Wim Hof group were able to resolve their inflammatory markers and normalize their cortisol more rapidly than the control group. The endotoxin is like a simulacrum for some kind of stressor, and so the idea is that by having more control and being able to regulate your autonomic nervous system, your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system more effectively, then you can normalize your response to stress better than people who don't. In the same way that exercise or meditation or something like a bed of nails, this is a Shakti mat which is designed to do the same thing, that I think really the way it works is that it gives you an acute stressor and then you're more able to respond to chronic stressors. So you might remember the famous quote from Fight Club, after a fight, everything else in life has the volume turned down. It's the same kind of thing. If you compare that to days where you're just in full slug mode, where you wake up and you're just sedentary all day and you don't do any exercise and you just feel this kind of low level background stress, but you also feel lazy and tired, but then when you try and go to bed, you can't sleep because you've not really exerted yourself. It's exactly the same thing. So to me, it feels like the Wim Hof method is basically clearing out the pipes of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system and just bringing you a little bit more into balance. And it's also quite cool to be able to sustain that level of cold exposure and you come out just feeling like... If you're ever in a bad mood, changing your temperature is one of the best ways to get out of a flunk. Going into a sauna and getting super hot or having a really cold shower, both great ways to just shift your status, get back into your body and just feel different. So how do you do the Wim Hof method? What I would do is 30 to 35 deep breaths. So go all the way in and then exhale halfway out. So 35 times, you'll start to feel your fingers and lips tingle a little bit. Then hold it on the exhale as long as you can. When you feel the urge to breathe in, take a full breath in, hold it for as long as you can again, and then repeat the cycle. You can do that 2 or 3 times. Go into the cold shower while you're doing this, and you will find that you're more able to tolerate the cold compared to if you weren't doing the breathing. Also, just be aware that the main danger of this is that you can tank your oxygen saturation quite quickly, and it is easy to pass out without much warning. So you've got to be aware of this, and if you even feel the slightest sense that you're going to do that, sit down and maybe reconsider whether this is something that you should be doing. Once you've done 3 rounds of it and you've had the cold shower, dry yourself off, put on something warm, sit down and meditate. Just breathe normally, fully, deeply, slowly, and just feel your way into your body. And you will genuinely feel qualitatively different. Really, that's all there is to it. That's the main benefit to it, is the subjective sense of well-being that carries on throughout the day. And to me, I think it's better than coffee because you're not overly stimulated for the rest of the day. You just brought yourself kind of into balance and you feel a little bit more focused without being jittery. Some people online are evangelical about the Wim Hof method, but it's not a superpower. It's definitely not the cure for cancer, and it is definitely not a penis enlarger. So just bear that in mind. Some tips for once you finish the rounds and you're just sitting with yourself is get out of your head. No thinking, no analyzing, just feel yourself in your body, feel your breath, inhabit your body, and just be with it. Enjoy the sensation that comes up. So would I recommend the course? Probably not. I think Wim Hof is a great guy, he's very genuine, and unless you just want anything that he would make, then fine. But otherwise, the way that he steps outside of his remit into the science and going deep into the nervous system and the endocrine system, and it just discredits him. So I think really you could design your own program where you're just going deeper and deeper into the cold exposure, either starting with a hot shower and then turning it cold for the final 30 seconds, and then starting cold, going warm, and then ending cold again, or whatever combination of that you need until you're just having a straight up cold shower, and eventually a 10-minute ice bath. So if you have any questions on the specifics of the Wim Hof method or how to implement it in your life, post in the comments below. Remember to subscribe for more on how to optimize your health, your physique, and your business. Click on the link below. All right, speak soon.